This is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine, Zeke, Old Man Murch's farmhand. Now, Old Man Murch was a piece of work. Here was a guy so cheap he wouldn't even buy fertilizer. He just worked out where he rented it from somewhere. Not to mention he had a reputation as the smelliest man in Scorch County. Okay, so there was this huge pond on Old Man Murch's land, a real rarity in Scorch County. It would have been an ideal swimming hole. Except Old Man Murch was an ornery old cuss. He didn't want anybody to go near his pond, and he warned Zeke that if he ever caught anyone in it, they'd be in deep doo-doo. Sometimes, after a long day of schlepping and sliding, Zeke was sorely tempted. But he saw what happened to kids from the town who tried to sneak in and go skinny dipping. A kid would hardly get over the fence before Old Man Murch would start running at him with his pitchfork. And believe you me, the kid would soon get Old Man Murch's point. Zeke never once went for a swim in that pond. In fact, he worked there until Old Man Murch died during that cold spell we had some time ago, back when the temperature fell below 100 degrees. Now, as his employee, it was Zeke's final duty to carry out the old man's last wishes, which were these. Old Man Murch wanted to be buried beside his house. Then, after he was buried, no one was ever to set foot on his property again. Especially, no one was ever to swim in his pond, or else, to paraphrase the old man's favorite expression, they'd be in deep doo-doo. Pretty weird, thought Zeke. So, the very next morning, the whole county was there, hoisting up the old man's coffin with a winch. After all the effort they put into just digging the hole, Zeke and the other townfolk were ready to fall into that grave out of pure exhaustion. The old man's water hole began to look mighty inviting, even if some people's strongest association with it was a memory of a pitchfork coming straight at their gluteus nether regions. But it was so hot, and let's face it, there's no way Old Man Murch could stop him from going in that pond now. So even though Zeke had an obligation to see that the old man's last wishes were carried out to the letter, well, Zeke stripped to his skivvies and cannonballed himself into Murch's pond. Now, to this day, residents of Scorch County claim it was the most sudden storm they ever saw. Fact is, we get so few clouds around here, some say it's the only storm they ever saw. And Zeke later swore that one of the cloud formations looked just like the face of Old Man Murch. But whatever people say they saw, the fact is the wind just whipped right in and ripped out the winch cable that was holding up the old man's coffin. The coffin came crashing down and smashed into a switch on the side of the house. The switch that was attached to the old man's fertilizer pipeline, the county's main sewage pipe. Suddenly, sewage spewed everywhere, flooding Old Man Murch's field faster than Ted's 3-alarm chili fills up the washroom at the local diner. And the sewage kept a-coming. That's when Zeke realized that the old man made good on his threat. He was in deep doo-doo, literally. This is a true story. Happened to a friend of mine, Zeke, who always said, if life hands you lemons, make lemonade. And considering what life handed him, I guess that's why today he's a fertilizer salesman.